Okay, y'all, so we finally get to talk about Namor. Some stuff came out. And so I want to go over a little bit of his origins, his powers, and how he could potentially kinda be used in the upcoming Black Panther movie. Let's get into it! So yeah, I apologize in advance if it's like a lot of reading and stuff, but I really want to I'm a person I like to get my shit straight first before we get into it. But like I said, I want to go over his origins. I want to go over like what he could possibly be used for in the movie, and I want to go over what happened in the comics when it came to Atlantis versus Wakanda. So I'm just like, okay, we haven't seen Atlantis like that in the Marvel universe, so Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm like, it could really be giving. It could really be giving. Okay. So from comicbook.com, y'all already know, Black Panther Wakanda Forever promo art reveals first look at Namor. Now, just take a look. Just take a look. Yes. I said on Twitter, that this would be me sneaking Namor in through Wakanda's groundwater purification systems. Listen. Okay. Let's get to the article, though. So it says Thor: Love and Thunder is poised to hit theaters next week, but Marvel fans have another big release to look forward to this year, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And while fans are excited to see how the Marvel Cinematic Universe will continue the Black Panther story, they're also excited for the much-rumored introduction of Namor, especially after the casting of Tenoch Huerta. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Here he is, and this man is definitely handsome. He's a very handsome man. But he's also been in this man is talented. This man is extremely talented. You can look up his filmography. Like, this man has been in a lot of shit. So, but yeah, back in May, fans got a very blurry glimpse of what Huerta's Namor might look like. And now, thanks to some new and much more clear promo art shared by the Twitter account MCU_facility, which also shared a look at Atuma earlier today. Today, obviously, meaning when the article was originally written. We're getting our best look yet at the Submariner. In the image, which you can check out for yourself, Namor appears with Dream, Swim, Breathe, blah, 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 blah. They're just talking about the 1960s versus today. They go on to say, most notable in the image are the details, which all have very Aztec-like feel, suggesting that the MCU's Namor's Atlantis will be located in Central America. This tracks not only with rumors about changes to the character in the film, but also with rap gifts for those involved with the making of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Photos of these items recently surfaced on social media and appear to feature that Aztec Jaguar god. Outside of this new image, there is still quite a bit about both Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Namor's role that remains a mystery. Fans have long been anticipating Namor's arrival in the MCU, and some were disappointed when the character did not briefly appear in Doctor Strange, blah, blah, blah. That film included an appearance by the Illuminati, a secret group that in comics included Namor. But while the film did not incorporate Namor in the group, screenwriter Michael Waldron did tease that Marvel had larger plans for the beloved character. He said, we talked about him because he's certainly an original member of the Illuminati, but I think Marvel has other plans for him in the MCU, and so he didn't make his way in this particular movie. So there is so much that you can talk about. I think one of the important things to remember, especially if you're somebody who like really reads the comics, I'm not really a comic girl like that. I really do. I just look up shit and tell y'all. So I'm not going to pretend like y'all already know. So, I think one of the main differences we have to keep in mind is that this come from Screen Rant. An alleged Black Panther 2 leak and details from the set suggests that Marvel won't be offering a traditional interpretation of Namor's story. Instead, there are now theories that Marvel is trading Atlantis for a new civilization inspired by Aztec culture and mythology, which I think is really cool, like a really cool twist on Atlantis, especially if we're talking about you know, DC got all that shit, and it's just like, we gotta make it different. So I think that's very smart. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about his origins and his powers and stuff, and then we can get into what happened between Wakanda and Atlantis in the comics. All right, so Marvel says the story of Namor began when his human father, explorer Leonard Mackenzie, used explosive charges in the process of discovery that inadvertently caused damage to Atlantis. This gained the attention of Atlantean Princess Fen, who snuck aboard his vessel to investigate the potential enemy. An unlikely friendship began instead, and eventually Mackenzie and Fen fell in love and were married. Though they soon separated soon after, Fen gave birth to a son, Namor. So also Fen's father, Emperor Thakor of Atlantis, decided that Fen and young Namor needed to go into exile for the next 10 years until the baby grew up to be a boy and could be raised to be the next heir of the Atlantean throne. However, it would appear that this exile might not have happened or not has been as long as originally decreed. It was also later revealed that Fen had a certain amount of shame and guilt about her son's half-breed nature. Despite this, Fen saw that Namor was raised in the model of his royal heritage and taught him about Atlantean history. Namor's name means avenging son in Atlantean, and he certainly lived up to this name as a young prince of Atlantis. His mutant power of flight manifested during his youth, and as he grew to childhood, he frequently led attacks against the surface world for their perceived transgressions against his people. Namor wanted the surface world to know that Atlantis was not to be trifled with. So real quick, I see his powers here on, it's just like Atlantean powers, like, you know, control of water, what they call it, hydrokinesis, some shit like that. You got telepathy, you got flight, or water manipulation, superhuman strength, durability, reflexes, agility. So it's just like Atlantean shit, basically. Like what you would expect. So now I think what's interesting here is in the comics, there's this, how should I say it? Battle, war, conflict between the Black Panther and Namor. And I'm going to read it because I do not want to get nothing wrong. Black Panther and Namor first met one another, not as adult superheroes, but earlier in the rise of the Black Panther #2, where the two cooperate on tracking down criminals who fled Atlantis. Both monarchs recognize how similar their respective nations are and part on amicable terms. But what's crucial here is that the young T'Challa recognizes that Namor could be a potential threat in the future. By the way, this comes from Screen Rant, I think. Black Panther is known for scouting out future threats to Wakanda and creating contingency plans to defeat them. So it's natural he would be skeptical of the Atlantean prince, given his penchant for violence. Unfortunately for him, his fears would come true when Atlantis invades Wakanda in the pages of Avengers versus X-Men. So Avengers versus X-Men, in that the two teams were fighting each other because they were trying to control the Phoenix Force. So the Avengers thought that the Phoenix Force was just too dangerous, it needed to be contained, and the X-Men wanted to use the Phoenix Force to revive their species after mutants were driven to near extinction. Ultimately, the Phoenix Force ended up possessing 5 different X-Men, including Namor, and the X-Men were then able to overpower the Avengers. So now the gag actually is that, okay, since the Avengers, they were defeated, they retreated to Wakanda. They were like, all right, girl, like, y'all win, we're gonna just retreat. We're going to just do what we need to do. But Namor, it says here, Namor decides that since the African nation is harboring enemies of mutant kind, it was necessary for Atlantis to invade. This invasion devastates Wakanda and also marks the beginning of T'Challa's rivalry with Namor. But unlike most superhero rivalries, this one carries with it the weight of 2 highly advanced nations. But honestly, their incursions are a bigger problem than their fighting, right? So they had to work together, like T'Challa and Namor, they had to work together. But Shuri wasn't having none of that, which I found really cool. Shuri was not having any of that bullshit. Shuri takes advantage of Namor's divided attention and launches a secret invasion of Atlantis, massacring its people the same way Namor murdered the Wakandans. But while Shuri only intends to show Wakanda's strength, Namor sees it as another declaration of war, so he retaliates using his strongest weapon available, which is apparently Thanos. Now, this is all in the comics, so obviously, like, Thanos, it's just like you can't. This is crazy. So in the middle of the incursion's conflict, Thanos and his Black Order have decided to attack planet Earth. So Namor takes advantage of the situation and lies to Thanos in order to trick him into invading Wakanda instead of Atlantis. But the thing was that apparently Thanos and his forces dragged the shit out of both Atlantis and Wakanda. so you know, in the end, let me see what it says here. Black Panther and Namor continue to trade blows with each other in spite of the looming threat of the incursions, and their conflict finally ends with T'Challa stabbing Namor and tossing him into a parallel universe that's about to be destroyed. Ooh, child. That was a lot. I know I read a lot, but still, like I said, I want to get the shit right. Listen, so it's multiple parts of this story. First of all, we already know that they are, like I said, they're not going to be doing the traditional interpretation of Namor and his origin story. So you can get that shit out your head. The second thing is, okay, in the Wakanda versus Atlantis kind of thing, they had Thanos, and I don't think we're not gonna have Thanos. They had both Thanos and T'Challa. So I'm like, how are they going to? But then in the comic book story, Shuri she decides to take her own action. She said, bitch, I'm finna drag this shit out of Atlantis. So I'm like, how are they gonna do? I'm very, 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 very curious to see how they're going to take all the moving parts of the movies, or the previous movie, Black Panther movies, all the moving parts of the MCU, some of the moving parts of the comic book story, and put that together and tie it in a bow and send it off. So I'm just like, I'm ready though. I ain't gonna lie, I'm ready. I think it will be I don't know. It would be so cool to dive even deeper into Wakanda's culture, into its history, into the ways that it can defend itself, into Shuri's genius, how they're going to treat the mantle of the Black Panther after, Chadwick Boseman's unfortunate passing, how Shuri's going to take the shit off. It's just like, also, I saw that there was a petition going on apparently to recast. I think it's like last time I checked, it was like 75,000 signatures to recast T'Challa. And I really don't know how to feel about it, because on one hand, I do understand 100% Marvel's decision to not recast. Like, of course, respect the legacy, blah, 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 blah. But even further than that, it's just like, I feel like everybody would be comparing the new actor, whatever it is, whoever he is, the new actor to Chadwick's performance, and it would be so unfair to literally everybody, But on the other hand, some people are like, well, enough time has passed. We get T'Challa's character in MCU is important, blah blah blah, or in Marvel Comics is important, and we need to make sure it continues. But I don't know. I think the only compromise for me could be maybe cast another T'Challa in a different universe, and you know what I mean. And I just think that a lot of times people be like, oh my god, recast, or oh no, the fans be like, oh yeah, I want this, and then they get it, and then like, oh no, this ain't Chadwick. It's just, you know what I mean. I don't know if some of the fans have the maturity to look at another person playing T'Challa and be like, all right, girl, this is a whole new actor, this is a whole new performance, I don't know. And Marvel obviously thought that shit wouldn't work either. So I'm interested in seeing what y'all think. Like, should he be recast at this point? Has enough time passed? Or do you want T'Challa's character to remain Chadwick's character, and that's it? But like I said, I think that the compromise could be just coming together and coming up with a plan to recast T'Challa, but in a different universe after this movie. I don't know. With that shit, it could get so messy. You see what I'm saying? It could get so messy. So yeah, that's what's going on. I think Namor is a great choice. I wonder how much damage he's going to do to Wakanda. I wonder what his defeat is going to look like. I wonder if they're going to keep him on because he's such a big character. I wonder if they're going to, like, how movies do, like, oh, he's dead, but not at the end of the movie, but he's not really dead. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, granted, I'm sure I'm not the only one a little bit nervous about this movie because, I mean, they had problems with production and, you know, Miss Shuri was, what's her name? God damn it. Oh my gosh, what's her name? Miss Letitia Wright ain't want to get vaccinated. she didn't want to get vaccinated. And the whole set, Disney, that mouse was like, girl, guess what? Guess what you about to do? Disney said, girl, we are a greedy mouse and you're about to get your ass in line. Okay, get your ass in formation. That's what your fave Beyonce said, ain't it? Get your ass in formation. So, I mean, that happened. Of course, Chadwick's passing. And now we got Namor in here. So it's just big plot points, big things that you have to deal with when it comes to making this movie. But I mean, Ryan Coogler did the damn thing. He did the damn thing. And I think he'll do a good job. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be great. But we just gonna have to see. We just gonna have to see. We just gonna have to see. I'm, like I said, though, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to dive deeper into, like, Wakanda. She was cute. But yeah, on that note, let me know what y'all think about this new Namor stuff. And thank you so much for checking me out. I will hit you all up later.